So, welcome to the show of Diabetic 365. I read your blog, you've been diagnosed in 2005 with type 2 and later on type 1 in 2007. Can you please explain me, usually it's when you're diagnosed, you are diagnosed as type 1 or type 2, but how did this happen? And can you explain us the whole story?
Sure. I was diagnosed as type 2, like you said. I was an adult walking into the doctor's office. I was overweight. I had high blood sugar. They gave me metformin, told me to watch what I eat, and pushed me out the door, basically. I didn't get a lot of advice on really even testing my blood sugar, or I didn't get any diabetes education classes, nothing like that. I just was an adult that was overweight with high blood sugar, so they assumed I was type 2. It took about a year on metformin and diet and exercise. I lost about 100 pounds, and I was trying really hard to maintain good blood glucose numbers, and I was failing. Depression came with that because every time I walked into the doctors, I kind of felt bad about myself, like I was doing something wrong or not doing everything that I should be doing. And finally, I had a doctor that said, "When was your last C-peptide test?" And I was like, never heard those words before. And I got a C-peptide test, and lo and behold, I'm not producing any insulin, and I'm type 1. So
Okay.
it took a while.
So it took you 2 years. That is from 2005 to 2007?
Ish, yeah, a little bit less than 2 years, but yeah.
2 years, that's a long. And you said that you lost 100 pounds. Can you please tell us how you lost 100 pounds? Because there are people out there who want to lose weight because, this is an important factor in maintaining your lifestyle and also this diabetes.
Definitely. I mean, diet and exercise had a lot to do with it. I have type 1 diabetes, so weight loss kind of is a symptom, so that went along with it. But just watching what I was doing, and caring about what was going in my body. Mm-hmm. I talk about diabetes being like a blessing almost sometimes, because before I was diagnosed, I was kind of really unhealthy and not thinking about what I was eating, my diet, my exercise, all of that. So this was kind of like a wake-up call. I'm 20-something and I have diabetes. I need to think about, long-term, which not a lot of 25-year-olds are really thinking. So
Exactly. So is it what kind of foods did you eat to lose 100 pounds? That's a lot. 100 pounds is losing 1 pound every week.
Right.
So
right.
You have 52 or 54 weeks in a year, and in 2 years you lost 100 pounds. It's on an average you lost 1 pound every week. That's not a joke. So how did you do that?
Well, I went from a very lazy sort of lifestyle to being very active. But then I also stopped eating fast food. I was in a profession where I was kind of eating fast food day and night. That was pretty much all I was eating. So cutting that out of my diet almost entirely helped a lot too. Now I've kind of gotten to a point where I can kind of figure out I can eat whatever I want, inject for it, and then once I start gaining a few pounds, I think maybe it's been a couple weeks since I've had some, spent a lot of time really grocery shopping and thinking about food. So I'm kind of on a back and forth now. So I've gotten to a point where it's easy. So
you were diagnosed with, again, type 1 in 2007. So is this a rude shock that came to you, or how was it?
I kind of had a really bad experience with my original diagnosis, that I had no education. No education was involved at all. So everything I learned on the internet. I learned through blogs. I learned through social networking and finding people, and on my own. So it took a while for me to really understand even the differences between type 1 and type 2. And I was feeling so bad. My blood sugars were so high for so long. and I just felt lousy that when my doctor said, you know what, you have type 1 and we're going to start with insulin injections, I was like, hallelujah. I know a lot of people are like, I could never inject myself, whatever, but the feeling, like, to feel healthy again, I didn't know what I was really missing until I started injecting, and I just felt so much better. So it was a shock, but like I welcomed it because I had felt unhealthy for so long.
Okay. So so one more thing is, like, what are some of the things that you really don't like about diabetes? I know you wrote a blog about the things that you liked about diabetes. I'm going to come to that question next, but what are some of the things that you don't like about this?
Oh my God, I've done a blog about things I hate about diabetes too. I'm trying to think of my list. I remember trash was on it. We produce a lot of waste, just syringes or the packaging of an insulin vial. The vials are tiny, and then there's like a cardboard box and like 20 pages of instructions. I know how to do insulin. I don't need the instructions in every box. I hate that I can't have back pain. I can't have sore feet. I can't have, the stomach flu without thinking, is this diabetes? Are my kidneys giving me problems? Are, my feet just sore because I've been standing all day? Or is it because I have poor circulation and maybe something going on down there? Like, even small problems become huge in my brain, and I kind of overthink everything and think it might have to do with diabetes. That bothers me a lot. I also hate comments I get from some people sometimes, like, beats the heck out of cancer, or you're so young. I get that one a lot. You're so young to have diabetes. I'm not. There are, babies that are diagnosed with diabetes.
Exactly. 2 years, 5 years, 7 years.
Yeah. So the comments from people that don't really know what they're saying kind of just irk me. But their intentions are good. Like, they're not really trying to, like, irk me, but it still irks. I kind of hate that I can't eat pancakes. I really love pancakes, but I love real maple syrup. I don't like the fake sugar-free stuff. So those are all things on my list, but I could go on and on, really.
Some of the things that you like about being diabetic, like, in the sense, like, I know that you have to maintain this every day. Like, you have to have a lot of patience, you have to have a lot of persistence in dealing with this. There's no day off. There's no day off. Yeah, you can, take a day off and say, like, oh, today I can eat anything that I like. So it's nothing like that. So what are some of the qualities that, like, more like persistence, patience, that you developed for a while, like 4 or 5 years, that helped you in other ways of life?
Well, I used to work with children, and patience kind of is part of me. So, like, I've learned to kind of be patient about, you have one bad blood glucose reading, correct, and see what the next one is, and just kind of roll with it. So patience is in there. Other things that I really have learned from diabetes I've learned a lot about community and, like, finding a community, not waiting for a community to come, because I have one friend, like a real life friend, that has diabetes. He has type 2. But when it comes to my real life friends, as opposed to, like, internet friends, they don't really understand exactly what I'm going through. So I've kind of found a community online. I've, 2diabetes.org, or my blog, or Facebook even. I have tons of people who have found me through my YouTube videos and stuff that are my friends, maybe non-traditional friends, but they're my friends on the internet, and I can post, like, what did I do? My blood sugar's 310 this morning, and I can't figure out why. And they sympathize or empathize. They've been there, so they can say, like, hope things come down or whatever. And
I know you found a lot of friends who are diabetic in, online or offline, but if there isn't anyone in your family who went through this kind of thing before, it's very hard for them to really understand you and also, help you out in this process. So how do you feel?
It's day by day. My family is still kind of learning, every time we get together, I'll teach them something new about diabetes. It's kind of like the YouTube videos I make that kind of are like educational / funny. That's how I talk to my family about diabetes. I've kind of explained like the differences between type 1 and type 2. I've explained hypoglycemia to them. I've explained carb counting and whatever. But it's still a learning process. My mom, for my last birthday, my mom made a birthday cake. And I was like, cool. I'm not going to eat any because, I had a huge dinner and I'm going to stop there. So, like, it's learning and it's day by day.
What are some of the good resources you found and you want to share it with the other community members or the guys who are starting out there new and want some of the best resources?
I cannot say this loud enough. 2diabetes.org is kind of like a social network for people with diabetes, type 1, type 2, LADA, whatever. Everybody is on there. Mothers of people with diabetes, fathers of people with diabetes, husbands and wives who have loved ones that have diabetes, whatever. The community is just so beneficial, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it saved my life. At one time I was in a weird situation with insurance and job switching and stuff, and I had to decide between paying a car payment and buying insulin. Like, it was a difficult time for me, and I learned on there that something my diabetes educator would never tell me: you can reuse an insulin syringe. And for some reason that never clicked in my mind, so I, started saving some money there. I've learned simple stuff like when I have a cold, I tend to drink a lot of Dayquil, and then at night I can't sleep, so I drink a lot of NyQuil, and then my blood sugars are like 1,000,000. So when I was talking about having a cold on 2diabetes, I learned that, gel caps probably don't, raise your blood sugar as much. So I did that, and that saved me from the weird roller coaster that happens to me after a cold because I over-medicate. Just simple stuff like that. And even simpler, like, somebody can go on there and say, like, I'm having a crappy day, my blood sugars are high, my wife is being annoying, and my kids won't go to sleep. And somebody can just, simply respond just as a friend, having nothing really to do with diabetes. So 2diabetes.org, I cannot say that loud enough. Everybody should have a profile. If you don't, you're really missing out. YouTube is great. I've found a lot of very educational videos. The first time I ever saw somebody inject insulin was on 2diabetes. Bill Woods has videos. He's called One Happy Diabetic. And that's the first time I ever saw somebody inject insulin. I was just clicking around, and then a few months later I was told I had to start injecting insulin. So that was good. I think just the tradition, it's funny to say traditional, but like the mainstream social media sites like Facebook and Twitter, there's a lot of diabetics on there. Friend them and start having conversations, really. Like you said, I'm not a professional, but I'm an expert in my own diabetes management, like only my own, but I'm pretty good at it, so I can share that information with everybody. And there's a lot of people that are really good at maintaining their own diabetes, so